From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
He held the job of Ag Secretary for 8 years under President Obama and is now being asked to return. Tonight, reaction from Montana's ag community about Tom Vilsack. And what will it take for the Alberta bear to survive COVID-19 so the community can once again take in the theater? And Montana's COVID-19 related death toll surpasses 800 today. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, 804 Montanans have now died of COVID-19 related illness as county health officials report another 9 deaths. Here in our region, Bighorn County reports yet another death today. That's 3 deaths in 3 days, bringing the county-wide total to 53. Also in our region, Roosevelt County reports 2 more deaths and 1 in each Custer, Dawson, and Rosebud counties. Tonight, nearly 500 people are hospitalized with COVID-19. Now, tomorrow, Yellowstone County Health Officer John Felton will address the community with the latest information and impact from COVID-19. Felton will also have details on vaccination, quarantine guidance, and the upcoming holidays. We will carry that press conference live right here on Q2 and on the Q2 Facebook page starting at 11 a.m. Well, Wyoming health officials confirm another 19 COVID-related deaths today. All of those victims died in November, with Fremont and Natrona counties reporting 4 each. Wyoming now stands 1 death shy of the 300 mark, while the state approaches 33,000 total cases. Now we're learning more tonight about yesterday's officer-involved shooting in Billings. Billings police say 36-year-old Richard Martinez drove a vehicle at officers before he was shot. It happened around 3 o'clock yesterday on the 600 block of Claus Circle in the Heights. Lieutenant Brendan Woolley says officers with the Montana Violent Offender Task Force were trying to arrest Martinez on valid warrants, and when Martinez drove at the officers, one of them fired. Martinez was treated for a gunshot wound and released from the hospital. He is currently being held at Yellowstone County Jail. The officer with the U.S. Marshals Service is on paid leave. Well, 2 years ago, MTN News reported on a substantial reorganization of the State Corrections Department and how some employees felt it was a form of retaliation against those who had criticized the director and top management. Well, now a former employee's human rights complaint stemming from those moves is coming to a head. MTN's Mike Dennison has that story.
In a 2018 reorganization at the State Department of Corrections, the agency's government relations director, Adrienne Cotton, had her position eliminated. Several months earlier, she had accused Department Director Reg Michael of sexual harassment and said her dismissal was a form of retaliation. Cotton made that claim in a human rights complaint filed against the state. And next Monday, that complaint finally gets a formal hearing before a State Department of Labor hearings officer in Helena. The hearing is expected to run several days, and the witness list includes Cotton, Michael, former DOC employees, and Governor Steve Bullock's former chief of staff, who signed off on the 2018 reorganization. The Corrections Department declined to comment this week, but Michael has consistently denied the charges, and the Bullock administration says a personnel investigation did not substantiate them either. It also has said the reorganization in no way targeted any specific employees. Cotton and other former employees think differently, and some may testify at the hearing. They say the reorganization, in part, was meant to get rid of employees who had criticized agency management as ineffective, or who had expressed support for accusations that Michael had harassed or mistreated women at the office. Cotton's initial complaint was rejected last year by the head of the State Human Rights Bureau. But in a rare move, the full State Human Rights Commission on Cotton's appeal decided to reinstate the complaint, leading eventually to next week's hearing. The hearing begins at 9 a.m. Monday. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Now, if the hearings officer rules in Cotton's favor, she could be awarded damages. Cotton also has filed a separate wrongful discharge lawsuit, which has been on hold while the human rights complaint proceeds. Well, the Ranch for Kids up in northwest Montana now has its license permanently suspended. Now, state officials removed more than 24 children in July of 2019 from the Lincoln County facility. The children, ranging in age from 11 to 17, were pulled from the facility due to serious allegations of child abuse. The state health department says the decision involves numerous violations. Those include disciplinary walks in the wilderness without weather-appropriate clothing, food restriction, withholding phone calls to parents, and withholding medical attention. Today, 17 states asked the U.S. Supreme Court to accept a new lawsuit that is attempting to invalidate Democrat Joe Biden's electoral victory in 4 key states, and Montana is one of them. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox says the odds of the high court accepting the late lawsuit filed by Texas are slim at best. But the Republican AG says the case raises important constitutional questions about the integrity of mail-in ballots in Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. The suit filed this week by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says the 62 electoral votes from those states should be invalidated, thus giving the presidency to Donald Trump. All 17 states asking the Supreme Court to take the case have Republican attorneys general. Many legal experts across the country have said the Texas lawsuit is without merit and that Texas doesn't even have standing to challenge votes in other states. The filing, joined by Montana, was written by Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt. Well, a shakeup is coming to the Montana legislature, giving individual committee chairs more power. On a House Rules panel, Republicans voted to allow committee chairs to kill bills without a vote or a hearing. Under current rules, every bill introduced must have a hearing and a vote. Republicans say the change is needed to make the process more efficient, so lawmakers can focus on bills that really matter. Every Democrat on the Rules panel voted against the change. It wouldn't become official until the full House votes on it in January, but it is expected to pass. Now turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. Well, it's warm right now, but change is upon us.
I'm afraid
Bob.
so, my dear Watson. Change is afoot, as they say in the movies. Well, let me show you. These were our records as of today. When you woke up, this is what we had for our temperatures, our record highs in the record books. And you'll notice Billings, our record was 69 degrees, 69 over at Sheridan. A lot of 50s out in the west, a lot of 50s and 60s. Now, let me show you our reported highs for the day. Now, the area is highlighted with a red star. Those are the ones where we actually have new record high temperatures, like at Livingston, Worland, Wyoming, and also at Jordan. Everyone else just fell a little bit short of breaking the record. So today, so far in the Billings area, we got up to 64 degrees. Now, a new cold front is moving in tonight, and look what that does. The high tomorrow, not 64, maybe 40, 30s after that from Friday right on through Monday back up to 39 then, and on Tuesday maybe 38 degrees. So we're going to basically kind of cut our temperatures in half. Hope you enjoy it. We're looking at some more winter type weather coming your way. We even talk about some snow, and we'll have more about that in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, if you were in the dark over the noon hour, you can thank a squirrel. The animal caused a widespread power outage in a substation that stretched from downtown to the west end. Now, a spokeswoman for Northwestern Energy says it affected about 3,000 customers, and it took a little over an hour to fix. Well, few have felt the impact of COVID-19 pandemic more than small businesses. In Montana, those account for more than 99% of all businesses and 65% of the employees. So the Montana division of the U.S. Small Business Administration is hitting the road to highlight success stories across the state. It's called the Peaks to Plains Business Resiliency Tour. Starting tomorrow, District Director Brent Donnelly will visit a small business in every one of Montana's 56 counties. He'll begin his tour in Helena with 3 goals in mind at each stop.
This tour is all about being able to continue to encourage those small businesses that have the grit and resolve to face the COVID challenges that they have for the last 9 months, number one. Number two, raise and highlight some awareness of all these things these businesses have done to respond to that. And then finally, and probably most importantly, urge Montanans to, through their holiday shopping season, shop local, eat local, spend your money in your hometown to the best of your ability, because it really does matter.
And Donnelly and staff will visit a wide variety of small businesses on the tour. They're scheduled to be in Yellowstone County next Thursday to meet with the Produce Depot. Well, it's no secret that the performing arts across the country have taken a major hit from the COVID-19 pandemic. At the Alberta Bear Theatre in downtown Billings, staff are sitting on a brand new performance space with no audience to take in the show. Q2's Mitch Laggy tells us what's planned for the Alberta Bear to rebound.
It's really difficult. And across the country, like you said, performing arts are hit really hard.
The Alberta Bear Theatre in downtown Billings was in a unique position when COVID-19 started sweeping through the country in February. At that time, construction crews were a little less than a year into a $13 million renovation project that started in May of 2019. In normal times, the nonprofit Alberta Bear Theatre employs 10 full and part-time staff. Executive Director Jan Dietrich said staff was cut down to 5 in 2019 when the theatre would be dark for construction.
We were closed, but doing events around the community. So we had already trimmed our staff down as much as possible.
COVID-19 slowed the renovations that were supposed to have a grand opening date in fall of 2020. That date has since come and gone, but for all intents and purposes, the theater is ready to rebound and host a show as soon as it's safe for a crowd to get together.
You know, right now we aren't staffed, and so it will, take an audience large enough that we can pay for bringing everybody back and be able to, see a performance. So we're hoping that the vaccine helps, and we're very optimistic that that'll be in May.
Dietrich said theater staff are hoping to host some stakeholder events in May of 2021, with a larger schedule announcement following that, with public performances expected in September of next year. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now, the Alberta Bear team was told last week it will receive some live entertainment grant money as part of the Federal CARES Act, but it has yet to receive those funds. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News here on Q2, the expected Agricultural Secretary for President-elect Joe Biden is very familiar to the job. We'll tell you what the move means for Montana next. And in sports, Lisa Lockhart may be soon 55 years old, but she's riding like she's half that. We'll hear from our Athlete of the Week as she chases the elusive NFR World title.